Hi everyone, and welcome to Monday Night Stamping. This is a place where we come to chat, connect, and unlock some paper crafting fun. So whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, we're so glad you're here. So take a moment, say hi, let everybody else know you're here, and we will be going down to my desktop in just a moment. My name is Lillian. I'm with Stampers Niche. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Alberta, Canada, where the weather is fabulous right now. Some people say, why do you talk about the weather all the time? It's because it's always changing, but it's fabulous right now. It's perfect snowman making weather. It's just a little above 0 Celsius, so just a little above freezing for those of you in Fahrenheit, and it's great. I was outside with just my sweater and a vest today, so it's super. So let us remember, say hi, let us know that you're here, and as we go down to my desktop, I have a question for you. So today is National Puzzle Day. So are you a puzzle maker? Do you like doing jigsaw puzzles or Sudoku or Wordle, or do you like doing puzzles? My husband very much likes doing puzzles, and I am, I'll help you with the edges kind of jigsaw puzzle doer, unless I'm really bored. Sometimes on holidays we'll do a jigsaw puzzle, or right around Christmas time, and I find that that's a good way to just shut the mind off. But that's where I'm at with it. So it's just fun. So are you a puzzle person or are you not? That's the question. I forgot to say today's date. Today's date is, believe it or not, January the 28th. So 2024. So January is almost over. It's so hard to believe. So while you're chatting about puzzles, I just want to remind you that my hostess code has changed. So this is the link that will take you to, and my hostess code will be automatically entered for you. So go there, or you can just go to my website and enter the hostess code that I share in my newsletter every Thursday. Every Thursday, my newsletter also shares the tutorial for whatever project I do on Monday night. So be sure you subscribe. That's where you get first dibs on a lot of things. So tonight, I promised that we would play with this. This is called Thoughtful Moments Hybrid Embossing Folder. So it's the embossing folder that cuts out words and embosses words. And it is on page, move my finger here, page 18 in the catalog. So last week we concentrated on this. This week we're going to concentrate on that. And so many people initially are intimidated, but I think you just have to kind of break it down into what you're familiar with. So it's a hybrid embossing folder. So you get both the embossing folder and the dies. So I found that when I was trying to get acquainted with these, I concentrated on one and then the other, and then I worked at putting it together. So the embossing folder, it embosses all these great words. So let me just show you what that looks like. So right there, you can see how beautiful it is. They really have dimension. There's a good selection from thank you and thinking of you to hello, get well, which I never seem to have enough. Celebrate, I've used a whole ton. Just because you make me happy would work for, well, Valentine's Day, but for all kinds of things. So there is the embossing folder. Then there are the dies. Now the dies have extras in there too. So let me just take them out. So you've got all sorts of extra little pieces. Stampin' Up! Doesn't like to waste. So if there's some space in the sheet of metal they use for their dies, they put it to use, and you get all kinds of extra little goodies. And yes, I did do a Get Acquainted sheet. And so here are the words cut out. And I'm going to bring it up close. You can see it cuts out and embosses. So you can just cut it out, and you can just cut out these for sure. All these little extra goodies. Look at all those hearts for right now. And the stars. Oh, I just love, and these are little rainbows, and they are individual pieces. Each arch is an individual piece. The die is one, but it cuts out individual pieces, but then they nest in. So if you cut out several in different colors, you could have all kinds of colors there. The words are so versatile. Yeah, they really are, Karen. The more I play with it, the more I'm in love with this. Once I got over being a little bit nervous. So let me just show you a little bit. Just move this out of the way. I really think that when you put them together, the embossing folder and the die, it just is over the top. So if you look at the part of the embossing folder that has the Stampin' Up! Logo, and you put this cutting side up, so the rough side up, and you lay it down, it will just, well, it helps if you turn it the right way around, of course. It will just snug in. So it moves around till it's in the right spot, and then it just sort of falls in. It's like a puzzle, so perfect for today. So it's just like that. So you do that first, then you put your paper in. I'm going to do foil because that really shows it off. So I cut a 6x6 piece just because it gives me lots of, it just fills the whole folder up, and I don't have to worry about it shorting out a word or something. And I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine like this. And we're using cutting plate 1, platform 1. So just the platform, nothing extra. Then we're going to put this in with the fold going into the emboss. So the fold first, like that. But before we do that, we're going to do the specialty plate 4. All right, so we've got all that. We're going to put it together and run it through. And it's a little snug, depending on your machine. And I'm sorry if it's shaking the table, but that means that loud smack just meant it was done, right? So I'm going to take these out of the way. And we'll open it up. And just like that, we have all these gorgeous, gorgeous words. So you make me happy. That's exactly what this hybrid embossing folder does. It makes me happy. There's a hello. There are all kinds. And you might say, what do you do with the extras? Well, I'll tell you what I do. I use our clear envelopes, and I store the extras right in there. And then when I need some extra words, they're right there ready to go. The other thing is you don't have to cut them all. You can cut a piece that just fits over this word here or this word here, whatever word you want to do. And you will be good to go. So I'm going to put those in here just before I lose them, because then I want to show you, because I promised I'd show you what the brayer does. So we'll just put those together. And then you've got this. You could even do a sponge, use this as a mask and do sponging over it. Oh, there's always tons of things you can do. Now, what if I wanted to add some color? So a way to add color and sort of make it like an outline, and I'm just thinking I forgot to cut a piece of white paper here. Just 1 second. I thought I had, but I guess I didn't. So, and I find that I like to use thick basic white here, and I have to open a new package. Well, there you go. Thick basic white is just that much thicker than basic white, and it seems to show up the embossing better. It seems to show up, it doesn't wrinkle, and that kind of thing. Cardstock is nice and thick too, so we don't have to worry about that. But really, I like to use the thick. Can you use the other? Oh, definitely. But I think you get a better effect with the thick. So there, I just cut it 6x6. We'll tuck this out of the way, like that. And there we go. So now we can put ink on here. Now you can take your ink pad, and I'm going to bring in a nice blue here, the Azure Afternoon. You can just take your ink pad and put it down, but I find it sinks down in a fair amount. So I find that I get a better result, or one that I like better, if I use my brayer. Now our brayer is new, and it is a hard plastic, and you'll find that you've got these two little prong things. When you're using your brayer, you want the prongs facing up. But when you're not using the brayer, you put them down and they keep your brayer, let's see, what can I bring in? They keep your brayer raised from the surface so that it's not putting ink on the surface. The other thing is it's not putting a ridge in your brayer. So you don't want to store your brayer this down like that, because it starts to get a line from just resting like that too long. So rest it on the stand like that. The other thing is when you're inking up a brayer, whoops, better put the feet in the air, don't go back and forth in one spot like that. If you do that, all you're doing is putting ink in one spot, not all the way around. And you want to get ink all the way around. So go all the way across, lift all the way across. Do that several times. You can see that I'm getting light and dark ink a little bit, so I'm going to keep doing that. I haven't got it over there, so now I'm going to slide it over there, and I'm just going to make sure I'm getting it nice and inky. Put it back there, and I want to put the ink on the side with the logo. So I'm running it across this way, and run it a few different directions. The ink here, your ink pad is, well, within reason, the better you get, the better ink coverage, I guess you could say. You can always add a bit more. I had a great class this afternoon at a retirement village, and most of them are new stampers, and it was just so much fun to stamp with them. Now I'm going to put this behind me so I don't put anything in it. I'll use it again in a minute. So we're going to repeat the same process. We've got the ink on there now, though. Now we're going to put this down and lock it into place, which I did, did that right off the bat. Then we're going to use my chamois and clean my fingers. And then we're going to bring our white in and lay it on top. And then close this up and close the ink up so that we don't make too big a mess. Bring our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and do just what we did before. All we've done is add the ink. So we're using Platform 1, the embossing folder, Fold First, and the specialty platform. Can't find the thick basic white. You know what? It is kind of, whoops, I think I got this in here a little crooked. Just a minute. I'm going to show you where the thick basic white is because I had to look for it too. So thick basic white is, I always have to, so where you see the specialty papers here, thick basic white is right here. So that's page 126. So it's where you find your vellum, your window sheets, your little boxes, your cello bags. You find your thick basic white, you find your thick very vanilla, and that's where you find your 12 by 12. So all of your basic white and very vanilla can be found right here. It's called the sweet spot. So there. I'm glad you asked that question because it does kind of hide in the catalog. There we go. Get this out of the way. And now when we open it up, we've got it, and it looks kind of messy right now, but you get an outline. So the ink hit those raised areas and colored them, but it didn't color anything else. So let me just show that to you a little more closely. So let's take the hello. So you get a look like that, which is a neat look. I quite like it. But I don't know about you. If you look at the front cover of the mini catalog, I was stymied as how they got all of that ink in there, like that. And so I'll tell you something. What I did was I started playing around, and I made myself a little chart. And I'll post this on my Facebook group later on, or do it tomorrow, hopefully. So here it is, embossed and cut out only. I'll bring it up like that. Here it is, the ink added to the embossing folder with a brayer. So you can do that. That's exactly what we just did. Ink added to the embossing folder with a blending brush, so it's much lighter. Just see the difference between the two. Oh yeah, there we go. And this one here, to me, was like the front cover of the catalog. And what I did with that is I added ink, just like we did, and then I used my blends and colored it. But hold on, I found an easier way. But it actually wasn't all that hard to do. And this is, I used Pool Party ink on Pool Party paper. So it really did just give it a bit more definition, like that. And then this one, I used a darker ink color. I think I used Coastal Cabana on top of the Pool Party. So they were, you know, sort of tone on tone, or they were color buddies, I guess you would call it. And so, but the same process as we just did. And then this one here, and this is I'm going to show you tonight. The ink was added to the embossing folder. It doesn't have to be. And then once it's done, the raised letters are colored with the same letter using the brayer. So instead of, let's just grab one here. Instead of coloring it with my blends, I'll bring back the brayer and the ink. And I am still mastering this, I have to admit. But I've learned a few things. So if you do this, you start off and you go lightly. Well, I think I need to do it on paper only because the brayer slips a little bit there. So you just use a very light touch. So no pressure. You can always add more, can't take it off. But look at already, it's turning color. Right now it looks messy because of what's behind it, but lightly go over. I can add more if I want. And don't put pressure on it. Just let the brayer do the work here. We'll come this way. Well, usually it works. We'll go this way then. There we go. I think that's looking pretty good. You get the idea anyway. And then when that dries, it really looks really good. So that's another way to do that. I really, myself, quite like the plain white. And of course, I love the gold there. But I'm going to play around a lot more with the brayering this step here that we just did, because I think that's got tons of potential. So those are some of the things you can do with that embossing folder. So now we're going to make a card with something from there. So, but just before we do, I wanted to remind you that there are some new embossing folders. In the mini catalog is this one here, and it's called the Layered Florals 3D. And those of you who know me know I'm just, oh, flowers are good, but I tend to buy leaves more or something like that. But I'm not always a flower person, and I thought that I could skip this embossing folder. And then I saw so many things. It is absolutely gorgeous. It seems more 3D than some of the others. It's amazing. And then you've got the debossed side. So here is a card where basically it's just a piece of paper that's embossed and then layered, and words and a few embellishments, and you've got that gorgeous card. And then I had to do a little bit on the inside too. So, so that's that embossing folder. There's another embossing folder. It's called Softly Sophisticated, and that is in the Celebration catalog. And it is it comes with the stamp set, so you get more bang for your buck. And it's right here. It's on page 14. So if you spend $120 on merchandise from any of the catalogs or online stores, even the clearance rack, you could earn this for free. So let me just show that to you. Just put that down for a minute. So you get this look here, like that. So it's one of the ways I've used it is in this card here. Do you want to see inside this card? My downline, my team, we made this card the other day. So there it is there. Isn't that fun? I just love this paper. How many of you have got the, is it Flight and Airy designer paper from the Celebration catalog? It is so much fun. Anyway, there we go. So that being said, oh, I was just going to show you that I did do this. I tried to copy the front cover of the mini catalog. So there's that. So let's try making a card. So I wanted to use a thank you. I wanted a thank you card. And there, look how thick that is. So this is to show you that this embossing folder and die will cut out the foam adhesive. So we sell foam adhesive sheets. I've only got one full one left, I think. These are, oh, I forget, I should know. These are 4 1/4 by 4 1/2. And then you can cut them with your paper trimmer. They cut beautifully. You can see I've got pieces here that I used. But what I did was I attached some to some gold foil. And in this case, I cut just enough to cut out this word, or this set of words. And left the backing on, of course, ran it through with the die and embossing folder, and this is how it came out. So we're going to use this on tonight's card. Look at the dimension there. The foam sheets are a smidge deeper than our dimensionals. Boy, I can't talk. I think I've been talking too much today. So my friend Joanne sent me this card right here, and it is such a fun fold. It is just gorgeous, just like that. And I had to case it. Now I tweaked it a little bit. We're making different colors and that kind of thing, but just while I've got it here, you'll see this is from Celebration 2. You can earn that free. And then there's some other goodies here that just, look at that glimmer paper. I think that's is it the Lost Lagoon soft glimmer paper? Anyway, very nice. So this was my inspiration for the card. And I think I'll even use the same paper because we have this Celebration paper, and I softly stippled. That's it. I was blanking out all of a sudden. So it has a lot of the new in colors. There's what she used right there, like that. And it goes with the stippled rose stamp set, but it's easy to use it on its own. But here you can see how it goes with that stamp set, like that. So I was playing around when I was planning tonight's, and I was planning, okay, what does the gold pop on? I'll show you what I came up with in a moment. But this paper coordinates with these colors. So Calypso Coral, Lost Lagoon, Pebbled Path, Wild Wheat. So those colors look really good together, actually. So this is how we've gone so far. I'm going to bring in the project now. So we'll go down to the paper first. So the paper is this one here. I actually decided to go with that one. Now, what you need to do is decide which side you want on the outside and which side you want on the inside. And I did this in a class, I think it was with my downline, I can't remember. It was either my downline or my stamp club. So this is the same card but instead of cutting this piece off, I folded it back. So would you like it looking like this on the front with this? Remember, we've got that. So have just a little bit of that showing. Or should we go like this? I think this pops more on the coral, Calypso Coral. Yeah, so we'll go with that. So we'll put this aside, and what we're going to bring in is our Simply Scored. Now you can use your paper trimmer. You just need something to do some scoring with. Now the part that you want on the inside of your card should be going down, okay? The part that you want to be on the inside going down. And I just have to open this and my little cheat sheets in there. And I'm going to score it at 4. And I'm going to, because it's designer paper, I better back that up so you can see. I'm using the wider tip there. Okay, I see flowers on the front. Did somebody else say flowers on the front? Should I do flowers on the front? What are you thinking? I was going to do coral, but if you're thinking flowers on the front, I can go that way too. Flowers, I'm seeing flowers on the front. Okay, we will do flowers on the front. So we're going to score it at 4. Remember, the part that I want on the inside, we're putting down. All right, 4, 8 1/4, and these measurements will be in Thursday's newsletter. 4, 8 1/4, and then 11 1/2. There we go. Now, because this isn't directional, we could always change our minds. If it was directional, you'd have a harder time. So we'll fold it with the flowers on the front. So the first fold, you're going to fold in like that. Like that. Then there's another fold mark here. So this doesn't go quite all the way to the fold. It's just hard to see it there on this pattern. There we go. Fold it like that. And then we're going to fold this back. Oh, so the comments are really delayed. Okay, Laura, I see what's happening. So we can go like that, or we can reverse fold it. So now's your chance. So some of you are saying, no, maybe the coral. So the coral or the flowers. What shall it be? Meant to say coral. Should we go with the coral then? I do think that it pops a bit more on the coral. But guess what? There's no right or wrong answer, right? So there we go. We'll go this way. And now you see the base of your card, but you get to see both sides of the paper. There we go, just like that. Then I thought, well, I think because I'm putting gold on it, I wouldn't mind running just a little gold trim here and step it up and make it kind of pretty that way. So what I'll do is bring in my silicone mat, and I'm going to run some seal down the inside of that flap. And I'm using seal, not the green glue, because I tend to end up in a mess when I use the green glue with foil. So I do use a dry adhesive, but you don't have to, but I just find it tough. So I put adhesive on the paper and took it to the foil and gave it the border I wanted. And then I am going to stick it right down, just like that. And now we've already dressed our card up a little bit. Doesn't it look great? I am just loving the way this shows both sides of the paper. Some of you are saying you get green popping up. It's not showing up on my computer. I'm not sure what the problem is. So now we're going to put this to the side. We're going to bring the thank you in, and how are we going to dress that up? Well, I used the hexagon punch, and I punched out this, and then I thought, yeah, that looks good on there. Or I could run that through the embossing folder, the one that we were just looking at, and we could put it on there, and that makes it a little bit interesting too. So I went that route. And then I thought, I still want a way of drawing attention to it and maybe softening it up a little bit. So when I want to soften things up, I often bring in a little bit of vellum. So that's what I did here. And then I was thinking, I know my brain goes into overdrive sometimes. Maybe it would be good, because there's a pebbled path here. It might be nice to bring in just a little pebbled path ribbon and do something like that. Or another option would be to bring in the gold ribbon, depending what ribbon you have. I was making something the other day that required red ribbon. I ran out of red ribbons, so I ended up getting far more creative than I usually do. So you can see it's just a little bit different look. But I think I am going to go with the pebbled path. I know I should ask you, but this way you can see that it goes either way. So let's see, we need it about like that. Bring in my ribbon scissors. Bring in my glue dots. And I just find it easier to handle this if I glue dot it together. So there we go. And it's going to go behind the vellum. Yeah, that's going to look okay. So let's start putting things together. We're going to just peel off the backing now. Just like our dimensionals, it has a backing. There's another piece there. Whoops, I missed taking it. And we'll put that on here. And then we're going to put that on the vellum. And the reason we're doing it in this order is so that when we put adhesive on the vellum, we know where to put it to hide it, because we don't want it to show. So there we go. We've got it looking like that. I need to move it over just a smidge. I was hearing from somebody today who just got the glass mat, and they said, I didn't know I needed it. This is amazing. I wish I'd gotten one years ago. How many of you work on a glass mat? I hadn't till just recently, till this special came out, and I am amazed at how much I like it. So there we go, like that. So what I'm thinking is that this is going to go like that, and we'll tuck the ribbon behind it. Now, one thing that's happening is a little bit is sticking over, and it is sticky. And I don't want that to be sticky. So I'm going to show you a trick. I don't want it to be sticky because it might stick where I don't want it to stick. I'm going to bring in my embossing buddy and tap some powder on there, and then feel it. And if it's no longer sticky because the little bits of powder stuck there. And just like that, we have desticicized, whatever, that. So let's put some adhesive here and stick the ribbon first. A little hard when it's so bumpy. So we'll stick the ribbon so that we like the looks of it. And you can be thinking, what embellishments would look good on here? I have some in my mind, but what embellishments would you use on here? So we could trim that if we wanted. I'll have to decide at the end. So I don't want adhesive on here, so I'm going to put my one there, and then I will go this way, this way. Where did I put my dimensionals? Oh, they're right here. What embellished little gold butterfly. Ooh, the dragonfly. Yeah, that would look good. I like that. That's exactly what I just might do. So now I have no adhesive here, so it can stick out. I'm safe that way. And just put it about like that. Ooh, I'm liking how this is coming together. What do you think? And then we've got our little here's a partial sheet here. We've got our little dragonflies. We've got our birds. I have to tell you something. With the class that I was teaching this afternoon, the ladies, that was their first time to use the putty end because we were working with some tiny pieces. They all fell in love with the putty end of the Take Your Pick tool. It was a huge hit. Okay. Maybe a couple of butterflies, or dragonflies. Like that. I think I'm going to put one there as well. There we go. And so now we've got it like that. You're going to have to try it, Laura. Great. Just there, you've got that. And now we've got the inside to work with. So for the inside, I'm going to have basic white, but then I wanted to put a layer. So you have to tell me, should I layer it on Calypso Coral? It's going to go in here, or Pebbled Path. So coral or pebble. You can say orange or gray, but whichever. Orange or gray, Calypso Coral or Pebbled Path. I'm seeing a cross section. You know what I could do is I could do a triple layer, right? Go like that. Ooh, I think, well, I'm just going to have to cut everything down a little bit. So this is 4 by 5 1/4. So I'll make this 3 1/4 by 5, 3 3/4, pardon me, by 5. And then we'll do, this is already 3 3/4, so we'll do this, or we'll do 3 5/8, just because I know it's going to drive the people with the 8th phobia crazy. So you can definitely have taken it down the full 1/4 inch. I'm just taking a little bit off, and let's see how that looks. Woo, got stuff flying everywhere. Like that. Well, you get the idea. Do you like the 2 layers? There. I don't know how to fix your green screen, Marie. I have everything's fine here, so I don't know if it's really bothering you. I hate to say this because we love having you here, but maybe watch it on YouTube afterwards if it's really bothering you there. So then, just before we glue that down, for a swap, I had made, using the same paper, this card. So I just used the hexagons, and then I did this on the inside. And when I looked inside my scraps, I found some pieces of the hexagons still there. And it's from the same set of paper. So I thought, should we put a little bit of a hexagon, just a piece of it? We could even do more like that. I think so. Like that. So we'll just put a bit of glue on here. put it wherever we want. I'm going to put it right here. Let that glue set for a minute and then bring in our snips. Snip off the excess. And we've got that little decoration happening there. We'll now add this glue to here. That thin little border. I'm a little partial to the thin borders, and I like to vary the size of my borders. We'll put this on the pebbled path. Ooh, I like how this is coming together. This wasn't in my original plan, but I quite like it. We'll bring this down. Now, sometimes it is hard to see your folds, so you can either hold it up when it's on pattern paper. We can hold it up like that, or we can fold these back, and then you can see it a little better when you're trying to put this down and center it. So this is actually just a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card, but it's got a little bit of interest happening. So there you have it, just like that. So thank you, and open it up and it goes like that. I just love that. So perfect. Now I was looking at my hooray for surprises. Remember you were voting for this or that? I caved and got hooray for surprises, but I thought you're the best would look good on the inside here. So we'll take that off of here. And I don't know if you realize, but it is really easy to line your stamps up when you've got the glass mat or even on your grid paper, because you can line it up on the lines, especially the clear ones, and then just pick it up with your block and everything's good. And I should definitely have stamped this before I glued it all down. I kind of forgot. Do any of you forget sometimes and have to do a little makeshift? I'm going to stamp it in Pebbled Path. Oh, and this stamp hasn't been used, so I am going to bring in my Stampin' Scrub and just clean it and take the finish off like that. So what do I mean by take the finish off? Oh, when our stamps are manufactured, they are manufactured in a mold, and they often have a little, I don't know what they use, but something to help them be released from the mold. It's just like we would maybe grease a cookie sheet or a cake pan or something. So if you just clean it or rub it on your jeans or something like that, it just takes if there's any of that residue left, and you'll get a better image when you stamp. So there we go. That's just when your stamps are new. And there, just like that. So I'll close this up. Put that to the side, and there you have it. So there is our card. What do you think? I'm pretty pleased with it. So here was the inspiration. Here was another card made with the same type of folds, and then this was our card for tonight. Now, when I was using this set here, and I used the set from last week too, and I closed my book up. But I used Adorning Hearts and then the Thoughtful Moments. So these two really work well together too. And I just wanted to show you that. So here we have the Adorning Hearts here, and then the Thoughtful Moments here. And that's the Distressed Gold. Doesn't that look neat? When I was teaching the class today, we were using some of this distressed gold, and some of the ladies thought it was metal until they actually felt it. So just a really neat way to combine the two. And then here's a card I received in a swap from Donna, I don't know her last name, or can't say it, but here she used Just Because, and she cut it out twice. Once in a darker color, and then she sliced it down the middle, the darker color, and tucked it top and bottom, just so you'd have that little frame, so it helps it to pop out a little bit like that. And so I just thought you might like to see those ones too. And then you know that I was hooked on the adorning hearts, and I played a little more last week. Here it is with Pebbled Path. So I embossed a strip here, and I love these. And I just love this white and pebbled path. I'm on a pebbled path kick lately. And here, all I did was take the ribbon and then use the white baker's twine and tie it. So you can see it. It wasn't a bow or anything like that. I had some of these left. And this Celebrate here is done again with the foam. So it's popped up. And that is the most adorned designer paper that you can get. So just having fun, all kinds of things. And then we have that mini alphabet, and I'm just starting to play with that. So this I cased from somebody. This was from Danny's Thoughtful Corner, but I wanted the idea in my head so I could use it another time. So great little die set, that mini alphabet set. And here's another one, and this one I did case too of Anna Hellman. So thank you to those ladies. When I'm learning how to play with something, I often case either something from the catalog or something I see online, and then it gets my juices flowing. So perhaps that would help you too. I don't know. So anyway, I hope that gives you some ideas for these embossing folders, these hybrid embossing folders, and makes them less scary. They are really, really fun to play with. And the more you play with them, the more your mind goes. When you get them, treat them as two separate things initially, if that helps you, like an embossing folder and a die, and then put them together. So thank you so much for joining me. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you're watching me on Facebook, thank you. Be sure to hit that thumbs up or something, just to make sure that Facebook knows you are enjoying these. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.